Good morning, everybody. Dear students, still we are discussing surprise reunion. We already discussed the vocabulary words, and we also discussed historical fiction, which is the genre, connotation, and denotation in the last week. In this week, we are discussing comprehension strategy and comprehension skill. The comprehension strategy, which is reread, and the comprehension skill, which is theme. Let us start with comprehension strategy, which is reread. What do we mean by reread? When do we use the reread strategy in our reading? Reread. Okay, it's very simple, very easy. When you read something for the first time and you don't understand it, the first thing that may come to your mind is that you will reread it or read it again. Reread, it means read again. Just add maybe something here. Let me, okay, use the pen. Reread, it means read again. Let me just change the color. Line. Okay, the pen. Reread means read again. Yeah, reread as a meaning, it means read again. When we read historical fiction, when you read historical fiction, you may come across new information or unfamiliar ideas. As you are read surprise reunion, stop and read difficult sections of the text to make sure you understand them and remember key details. As I told you before, reread it is comprehension strategy, which means to read again. It is to stop while reading maybe hard passage or some specific important passages. You have to stop and read the passage again or read the line again to understand the ideas and be able to memorize them. While we are reading a surprise reunion, we will learn this skill and practice it. We may have some difficult passages for some students in this story, and we have to read them again and understand what does the author mean by them, and understand maybe some important information that are not clear from the first reading. So reread strategy, it helps us in many ways. How? Good readers reread sentences or paragraphs that they don't understand. Yeah, this is very important. They stop and think about what they already know and make connection as they reread. So reread is very good strategy done by good readers. Second, the benefit of reread is that when readers encounter new or challenging information, students can reread that section. So good readers, good students, they reread the section that they don't understand or the section that has challenging information. They may need to reread more than once to make sure they understand. And the last good point about reread is that students may find that rereading improves their comprehension. This is very important. Reread improves your comprehension, your understanding of the passage. Okay, so we have three benefits for the reread. First, they don't, good readers do this strategy, which is reread, because it helps us understand and connect information. Second, if we have challenging information, we have to do reread to make them easier to understand. And finally, reread improves our comprehension. So rereading has more than one benefit, and we have to practice it while we do a reading. Let me take you to this part. Reread. Yeah. When you read historical fiction, okay, we read this, you may not be sure what rabbit, this is an example of reread strategy. You may not be sure what a rabbit dance is. In the story, we have something called the rabbit dance. It was practiced by the Shoshone tribe. But for many of us, maybe this is not clear for us. What do we mean by rabbit dance? Yeah. What do you mean by a rabbit dance? So why it's part of the Shoshone culture? In this case, if we don't know what's the meaning of rabbit dance with the Shoshone culture, what should we do? What should we do? We have to reread the first paragraph of Surprise Reunion to understand what's the meaning of rabbit dance. I will take you to the lesson. Of course, it's on page 383. Yeah, here is it. Here is page 383. And here is what we mean by our rabbit dance. Of course, we don't understand it. Let us do what we do. We have to reread. If we read it for the first time, if we read this passage for the first time and we don't understand it, what's the best way to do here? It is to practice or to apply a reread strategy, which is a reading comprehension strategy. Let us read it again, for example.
Chief Cameawait looked with intensity across the Shoshone camp. The tribe prepared for the rabbit dance as warriors oiled their leather costumes. The dance was done to honor the rabbit as an important food source. The Shoshone had used traditions such as this dance since the beginning of time to mark special occasions and remember their ancestors.
Okay, so maybe we don't understand the meaning of rabbit dance from the first time, but after we reread again for the second time or the third time, we understand that the rabbit dance, it is a dance to honor the rabbit as an important food source. So the rabbit dance, what is it? It is a dance that was done to honor the rabbit as a source of food. Now we understand the meaning of rabbit dance when we reread the first for the second time, when we reread this passage for the second time. So the rabbit dance, here we find the meaning of rabbit dance. I think things are clear for reread strategy. Here is it. I read the rabbit dance in a Shoshone tradition that honors the rabbit as an important source of food. I can infer from this that the Shoshone have a close connection to nature. Yeah, from the reading we understand that the Shoshone are close to the nature because they are connecting their life to a rabbit, which is part of the nature. There is a task for you also here. Your turn. What do Lewis and Clark need from Chef Kamawit? Reread a surprise reunion to find out as you remember to use the strategy of reread. Okay, if you read the story for the first time and you didn't know what do Lewis and Clark need from Chief Kamawit, read it again and write on a sticky note your answer. Write it on a sticky note telling what do Lewis and Clark need from Chief Kamawit. I know what do they need. They came for him to ask for something. I'm waiting. I'm giving you the chance to find an answer for this question by doing reread strategy. Now we will move to another thing, which is the comprehension skill. Comprehension skill. The comprehension skill in this lesson is theme. What is the meaning of theme and what do you mean by theme? Let us see. I prefer not to highlight it. Yeah. The theme of the story is the overall message or the lesson that an author wants to communicate. So when you tell a story uh, about someone and there is a message in this story. When you tell a story about a lazy student who failed in his test, in this story there is a kind of a message that we should not be lazy because the result of laziness is failure. Uh, when you tell a story about a cheater who used to cheat, but in the end he was not successful. In this story, there is a message that says that we should not be cheaters because the end of cheating is failure. In this story also, there is a message. Let us first understand the meaning of theme. So the theme is the message of the story. The theme is the message, is the overall message. The theme is the overall message or lesson that author wants to tell us. I repeat, the theme is the overall message. The theme is the message or the lesson that we understand from the story or that the author wants to communicate. How can we identify the theme? How can we find the theme in the story? Um, the theme is easy to find when you pay attention to what the characters do and say and how they change. We have to pay special attention to what the characters do and say in the story to find out the theme. Uh, let's go to this story, for example. In this story, what do we have? We have the Shoshone tribe where um, Chief Kamawit is there. He lost his younger sister in a raid, and he was very sad not to have it her around him for a long time. Suddenly, out of nowhere, we find that girl coming to him, and they were united again. That's why the title of the lesson is called a surprise reunion. Uh, let's go through the story and try to find the theme of the story or the message that the author wanted us to understand in the story. Detail one. In the story, uh, first, the children were playing. Watching the children playing reminds Chief Kamawit of his sister. Yeah, Kamawit saw children playing and he remembered his lost sister who was lost in raid. Raid, which is when people or tribe coming to another tribe and they hit them or they scare them and they take their things, maybe their children too. Uh, Detail 2, Chef Kamoid feels pain at the loss of his sister. Detail 3, it's when Chef Kamoid was reunited with his sister. If I take you here, I may give you an example of, I may give you an answer for this one. Okay. The theme. Yeah. If we go here, I can add a note. I can add a note here. Let me add a note. Okay, note here to the right page. The note should be here, guys, for detail 3. Here's detail 3. It's Kamawit is reunited with his sister. Here is it. It should be with detail 3. And if we need to move to the theme, of course, this is detail. Okay. Chief Kamawit is reunited with his sister. This belongs to this detail. And the theme of the story will be, the theme is the message that the author wants us to understand. The theme will be that traditions keep loved ones in our hearts. So, okay, back to our lesson. The theme is that traditions keep loved ones alive in our hearts. This is the theme of this story. Okay, I'll keep it here for you so that you can copy it in your copybooks. I will now go to your turn. A surprise, reread surprise reunion. What other details give you clues about the theme? List them in a graphic organizer. Use the details to figure out the theme. Okay, I will give you a chance to reread Surprise Reunion and find me more themes in this story. That was all for today. Just a quick reminder of things we have discussed today. First, we talked about theme. Today we talked about two things. First, the reread, which is comprehension strategy. Second, we talked about comprehension strategy, which is reread. Second, we talked about comprehension skill, which is theme. Reread, it is strategy, which means to read again and understand things we didn't understand from the first reading. Theme, it is the overall message or the lesson that we understand from a certain story or a passage. How to understand to find out the theme, we have to pay attention to what characters do and say, okay, and how they change. And I told you here in a note what do you mean by detail 3 and the theme of the story. Thank you so much. That was all for today's lesson. See you soon.